According data from OJK, 66% of Indonesians are now financially literate. But why is it that so few have achieved financial freedom? Well, I'm Satria Nur Alam, and today I'm going to talk about how to achieve financial freedom. Based on data, we can see that money in Indonesia are already aware of how to manage their finance. However, another fact showed that 98% of people who have a bank account have less than 100 million rupiah in their balance. This tells us that there's a gap between their financial knowledge and their actual ability to manage their money. Data from various sources also show that the top 1% of Indonesians control nearly 46% of nation wealth. So yes, there is a significant inequality here. And now, let's dive into how we can achieve financial freedom. Just like any process, everything starts from an input, which is then processed and becomes an output. In this case, if we are talking about output being financial freedom, then we need to break down what the input is. The input here is money. We need to have money first. And the process is how manage that money in order to reach our goal, which is financial freedom. To get the input, everyone has to work, but in reality, the unemployment rate in Indonesia still quite high. While about 95% of the population is employed, there are still 5% who are unemployed. Among those who are working, they typically have two types of income, the main income and a secondary income. Data from BPS show that more than 15% of workers also have a side income, meaning aside from their main job, they're earning from another source. Your main income usually comes from your job salary, but outside of that, there's nothing wrong with exploring your soft skill to generate extra income. You can become a freelancer, an influencer, and trader, or pursue other side hustle to boost your main income. Once your main income is stable and you've also got additional income from side job, then you can oh sorry, move to the first step in the financial freedom process. Okay. So, what is the first step in the process of achieving financial freedom? Think of it like a ladder. And the first step we need to take is to have at least 10 million rupiah in saving. You can keep this liquid fund anywhere. It doesn't have to being a traditional bank. It can be a digital bank, money market fund, or even in bonds, as long as it's liquid. Now, why 10 million? The answer goes back to what we mentioned earlier. Many people still don't even have 10 million rupiah in their account bank. So, when someone finally has that amount saved, they'll naturally feel more confident, more secure, and more comfortable with their financial situation. That's why I say 10 million is the right number, a solid starting to balance to have in your account. The next step is to get out of debt as soon as possible. I know that in Indonesia, many people are still trapped in consumer debt. According to data from OJK, 68% of Gen Z and millennials in Indonesia are in debt, not for something productive, but for consumer purpose. That's why the data also show that around 40% of Gen Z and millennials experience default, meaning they fail to repay their consumer loans. We need to constantly remind ourselves to stay away from consumer debt. So, is it okay to have debt? If it's productive debt, then yes, that's acceptable. For example, if you want to expand your business to or partner with someone and need additional funding, that's fine. As long as you follow 1K1 rule, your productive debit should not exceed 30% of your liquid capital. Let's say you have 100 million rupiah in savings. That means the maximum productive debit you can take is 30 million rupiah. Why? So you don't fall into a liquidity crisis. If your business fails, you'll still be able to cover the debit with just a third of your saving. That's why you stay liquid and can continue living a financially safe and comfortable life. The next step is preparing an emergency fund. Now, this is relative, and I say relative because the amount you need really depends on where you live. In big cities in Jakarta, Bandung, and other, you'll need a leisure emergency fund. Why? Because live in big city comes with way more uncertainty compared to living in smaller towns on rural areas. Ideally, you should prepare at least 3 to 4 million 3 to 4 month worth of living expense. That's already good. But if you're living in a big city, try to aim for 6 months of emergency fund. What does that mean? It means if you lose your job, experience a drop in income, your salary gets cut, you still have enough money to survive the next 6 months. For example, if you're living in Bandung and your monthly living is around 5 million rupiah, make sure you have at least 30 million saved up as your emergency fund. Whether the, whether that's in a saving account, money market fund, bonds, or any other liquid asset. Once you have that emergency cushion, sorry, you're in a much safer place to move on to the next step. Now, the next step is to be aware of and understand the importance of investing. Why? Simple. Because there's something out there called inflation. Inflation happens when the amount of money circulating increases, causing the value of money to decrease. That's what makes the price of goods and services go up over time. So the goal of investing isn't not to get rich. It's not to get rich, yeah. Getting rich is just a bonus. The real goal is to beat inflation because inflation is a certainty. it will happen as the amount of money in circulation keep growing. When it comes to investing, we can break we can break down into town main categories: low risk investment and high risk investment. Low risk often include things like bonds, mutual funds, or even gold, which tends to have a relative stable value. But if you more into high risk, high return opportunities, then you might want to look into stock or even cryptocurrencies, which has become a hot trend lately. But of these have high return potential, but also come with high volatility. So the question is, which one suit you better? Something safe and steady, or something with bigger risk and reward? Their answer depends entirely on your potential risk profile. Now, the next step, once we're financially secure, debt-free, have enough emergency savings, and are financially literate when it comes to investing, is to be open to giving. What does that mean? We need to realize though if we've that man made it past all this stage. We're already more financially free and stable than 70 to 80% of people in Indonesia or even the world. So when we're already at a stage where life feels safe and comfortable, there's nothing wrong with sharing. That's happiness with others. We need to understand that the more people we help, the more we share our blessing and joy, the closer we get to fulfilling the bigger mission, which is not just to rise financially literate in Indonesia, but to actually help more people achieve real financial freedom. So, let's pursue financial freedom together. Okay, I'm Satria Nur Alam. I was listening off. I apologize if I apologize if there were any mistake, and thank you for your time.